Okay, ready to go?
Yep.
Let's do it. Hello and welcome to another episode of Up Until Now podcast. I am your co-host JD.
I'm your other co-host Andrew.
And thank you for taking a listen to our 23rd episode, I believe this is it. The 23rd episode. So we are on our Michael Jordan episode. And the only reason why I say that is because I've been actually watching The Last Dance, the documentary about the Michael Jordan era of basketball.
Oh, okay.
So I've been watching that. I actually finished it today, so it's just kind of on the top of my mind.
Were you the one that I was talking to about Michael Jordan's house?
No.
Oh, it's because it's funny that you mentioned Michael Jordan, just because like I recently talked to someone about how like Michael Jordan's house is on the market and like no one's buying it.
I had no idea.
Oh yeah, like he hasn't been able to sell his house for so long. Just like even though like he already lowered his original price to like half of what he wanted, so it's like 20 something million now from like 50 something, but then a lot of people can't find any use for his house because everything's like customly catered towards him.
That and like it's just super expensive. Like it's a $20 million house.
Yeah,
like not a lot of people can just drop $20 million on a house.
Yeah, and it's in Chicago or like Illinois area somewhere in there.
Oh, it's his house in Chicago.
Yeah, so it's like,
Got it. I know because I used to work for his steakhouse. When it comes to like social media through my company that I was at, so I know that he spends most of his time in Miami. Anyways, like he doesn't come to Chicago or to his Chicago home very often.
Yeah, I mean, he only had it here just because this was his home city, and
yeah.
Or was he born in Chicago?
No, he was from.
He just
Wilmington.
played for Chicago. That's why
he played for Chicago. He was from Wilmington, North Carolina. Yeah, exactly. Like no one knows where Wilmington, North Carolina is, but now they do because of Michael Jordan.
I mean, I consider him a Chicagoan. Windy Cityan.
Windy Cityan.
I consider him from Chicago just because, like, that's what I grew up knowing.
For sure, Chicagoan. He's definitely a Chicagoan. I mean, there's no denying it.
Right.
Like every single person from Chicago will say like Michael Jordan is from Chicago, and that's it. Yeah. Like that's his
home.
Exactly.
But yeah, I thought that was funny that you mentioned Michael Jordan.
Yeah, well, I mean, I saw the documentary on Netflix and I just finished it today. So I was like, oh, all right, not bad. It's a interesting documentary.
I see. Oh, you know how a few episodes ago we talked about Karens?
Yeah.
Ran into one at work the other 2 days ago.
Oh God, what happened?
So like, we require masks at our water park.
Of course.
Especially like when you're ordering at our concessions, and we have junior high students and high school students working. Like they're young, they're vulnerable to all that crap. And like all of our employees wear masks. And, we require a mask for when customers come up and order. And, that's stated when they first come into our aquatic center too. And they're given free masks from our front desk. So this lady comes up and she went off on one of my employees. And like to the point where like my employee went to the back and started crying after like she walked away. Like she was like, how the fuck are you going to tell me to wear a mask when none of these pieces of shits over here are wearing their mask? I was like, and then like they were arguing, but me and my director were just like standing back and like, let's see how she handles this. Like in face value, like she was handling it pretty well, like she just stood her ground. She was just explaining our, procedures and blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, fuck you, stupid bitch. And like walked away. And then like the employee walked away. I thought she was just, cooling off, whatever. But then the lady came back to the window and was like, matter of fact, where's your fucking manager at? My happy dumbass just like trots up there like, hello, like I'm the manager. And she was like, can you explain to me why the fuck she's telling me I need to wear a mask? And I was like, well, I'm going to tell you the exact same thing. You do need to wear a mask because that's just, our protocol. And we require patrons who come to our aquatic center to wear a mask when they're ordering from the concession area, just because it's healthy or safety for both the patrons and our employees. She's like, I don't see anyone here eating wearing a mask. I was like, well, yeah, they're eating. I don't know how people eat with their mask on. And she didn't like my snarky, smarky attitude response.
Yeah.
And she was like, man, fuck you. You literally just gave someone food without them, or you let someone else order food without their mask on right before me. I saw it. I was like, well, if you gave my employee a chance to, like, you know, talk and explain, she would have told you exactly what I'm about to tell you. The people that were right in front of you did not order any food. We sent them away to go get their masks. And, you know, she blew up for, like, it escalated really quick, really fast. Just because, like, as soon as the lady walked up, we noticed she didn't have her mask on before, you know, she even got up to the window. And my employee, she was like, excuse me, ma'am, I'm sorry, but, like, it's required that you wear a mask. Is it possible that you can go grab yours or, you know, get one? And she was like, what, fuck? And, like, she blew up. And then she was like, man, fuck your goofy ass. And I was like, oh, I don't like that attitude. What the hell? And she left, grabbed her mask, and came back and proceeded to order food. And I was like, oh, okay. And then when she had paid with her card, and I was like, here you go, you're all set. She just snatched that card and walked away with her food. I was like, someone's having a bad day. And like, there was literally no reason for her to get mad.
Yeah.
And in my honest opinion, I feel like she made it about race. She happened to be, this is just my personal opinion on this. She happened to be African American, and every other patrons that were around were white, Caucasian, you know?
Yeah.
They were all sitting, eating their food with no mask on. The people that were right before her were white, and, you know, they were sent away, but I guess in her eyes, it seemed like they ordered and just walked away without a mask. But, you know, we didn't give them anything. We asked them to leave and grab their mask. But I guess she was like, oh, how come, you know, none of these white people need it? That's just my personal opinion. That I could just be very, you know, wrong on that. But I feel like just because it escalated so quickly, so fast for no reason, because there's no reason. Like, if you're just getting angry about a mask, that makes no sense.
Yeah, you know? It doesn't.
And I just feel like that's just what happened. And then I went inside afterwards, and I told our, like, actual director, like, of the entire parks, and I was like, hey, this and that happened. And he's like, what? And you still gave them food? I was like, yeah. You know?
I would have said when they came back, I'd be like, oh, we're closed now. Sorry. And just, like, close the register and just told her to go away. I mean, and it's not even like a race thing either. It was just like she didn't wear a mask, and you guys require masks.
And, like, what I wanted to do was, I mean, I would have pissed her off even more if I did this, but her daughter or friend, whoever she came with, wasn't wearing a mask, and she was to the side, but, like, right next to the window area.
Yeah.
What really pissed her off was if I've been like, oh, excuse me, can you have your friend wear a mask too, please? And then, like, refuse her. But then, like, at the end of the day, like, I told my director, I was like, I wanted their money. Like, I don't really care. Like, I want the money. Like, I grew up in the business aspect. I want the profits.
No, that makes sense. It makes sense.
Right. So, and I was like, you know, we gave them their food, and she walked away, and I was like, it's over it. But then my director was like, I would have kicked them out immediately. The second she, like, dropped the swear word, I was like, yeah, but, you know, they left the pool right after they ate something. So I was like, doesn't really matter. And the day was already almost over. So I'm not going to really make a big deal out of it.
Oh, they would have made a bigger deal out of it if you tried to kick them out.
Oh, it would have been a different story if it was, like, early in the day, but, like, we were about to close too. And then I was like, the pool's going to close in, like, an hour anyways. And it seemed like they're already packing up to leave.
Yeah.
So I mean, we told like, our aquatic instructor, like, who's in charge of the pool, like, and we let him know, and he's like, Chung, if you want to kick him out, you can kick him out. I was like, oh, I know. The previous aquatic instructor told me that too. I know all this. It's just want you to know that, you know. And then apparently she had big issues at front desk too. Like, when she first came in, apparently she created a whole fuss about it. And I was like, whatever. She's having a bad day. Whatever. She's hot. She's going through a heat stroke or something.
Yeah, so, I mean, oh my God. I mean, dealing with Karens in real life is, like, an actual thing now. And it's even worse now because of, like, all these extra precautions that all these stores are putting in to keep their customers and their workers safe.
Yeah, and I think it's very selfish if, you know, they blow up at like an employee just because they're following like their facilities procedures. It's like, it's not like they made the rule.
Exactly. And it's not the employee's fault that like you're not following the rules that were like clearly stated to you when you first came in here.
Right. And I don't know. I mean, I felt bad after I found out that she was crying. I was like, oh, I mean, I wouldn't have been laughing about the situation if I knew you were crying. Because like in my eyes, it was funny because I was like, I don't care how mad she gets. At the end of the day, I got her money. And like to me, it was a joke because I was like, that's not even the worst I've ever dealt with in customer service. Like to me, that was just like a brush off. But to her, that was like the second time ever like a customer like yelled at her or something. And like she like really scared. She's a very timid girl. And I was like, I mean, I guess. And like I felt bad and all, but like me and my director were just like giggling about it, like, like the shit that we got to deal with now just because of coronavirus, and you know, it's like whatever.
That poor girl though, like I wouldn't have cried, of course, but I would have been like pretty pissed. I'd be like, who does this lady think she is about yelling at me about wearing a fucking mask? It's not a big deal.
I mean, she's like a fragile high school girl, and you know, customer just straight up yelled at her, swore at her, called her a bitch, and you know, she didn't know how to process everything. She was like, shit, I fucked up. Yeah, but in my eyes, I was like, don't ever feel bad for something like that. You did nothing wrong, and if anything, you have the right to tell her anything that you did, everything that you did, and next time if you don't want to deal with it, just call me. My dumbass would go up there and be like, hello, and no big deal.
Yeah. With COVID in general, I feel like it's just so hard to do like the things that we've always like that we've been normally doing. I think that's a very big given. Like people have understood that like since COVID started, we can't go to the pool like as freely. We can't have like giant weddings in my case, and like we can't even go like shopping. Like I've missed going into Best Buy for the longest time since like February. I haven't been into a Best Buy since like February.
Wait, are they not open where you live?
They are, but like I haven't had the time to go in there because one, they closed early because of COVID, and two, just I feel like if I go in there, then I'm just gonna buy a bunch of shit because like a withdrawal.
I mean, I guess.
On my Best Buy credit card, like there are, I mean, not Best Buy credit card, but like just being a Best Buy member in general, there's like levels of like your commitment or like your status as a customer. I have been an Elite Plus member for 3 years, which means in a calendar year, I've spent over $3,500 every year as a member of Best Buy.
Man's got a problem.
I do. I very much do. Like I spend a lot of money there, and like I really do enjoy. I like Best Buy. I will never pre-order a game with them ever again because I've had a lot of problems with that.
Or deal with their Georgia branch.
Or deal with their Macon, Georgia branch. Yeah, like no, never. But like, I still enjoy going in there because they're one of the few companies that let you like test out the products before you can actually take it home. Like, no, you can't really do that with Amazon. You can't really do that with just like online retailers or even like Walmart or Target. Really, you're not able to like test like the high end shit. Like at Walmart, you can test like the $200 laptops and be like, do you like it? It feels like plastic. Like that's not. That's just not a thing at Best Buy. They have like the premium shit out there. So like, I like going, which kind of like goes along with this process. Like I know that this past year has been hard to make like big purchases in general, but like what are some of like your favorite purchases that you've made in the past year?
So that's actually a really tough one just because the past year was the year I struggled with financials the most in my life. But I did make few purchases that helped me throughout my days. First, it's going to be that helped me, get out of that depression phase and like got me going a little bit was clothes, shopping. I went shopping. I just bought clothes. Like that helped me, especially like after I lost weight from being depressed.
Retail therapy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You just spend money and you feel good after like you buy some new clothes. You make sure like you look good. And well, at least in my eyes, I look good, whatever. But like you just felt better, and like that got me going a little bit. That got my I encouraged myself with that, and like and it was a great feeling just because like, but prior to that, like I mentioned it in previous podcasts, like I barely go shopping. I'm stuck. Look, I'm wearing a fucking work shirt right now. Like that's what I wear, and like, but I have decent looking clothes now, and feels great. Another one would have to be something I purchased recently, and it wasn't for me. It was for Ashley for her birthday present, but
Okay.
you know, sometimes I use it too. It is I would really recommend it for you too. It's a weighted blanket.
Okay.
It's so comfortable. Like it's a different feeling when you're laying down.
So I don't like weighted blankets all that much
Why not?
because I have really shitty ankles.
Uh-huh.
So like when all that constant weight and pressure is like on my ankles and on my feet, I can feel it in my ankles.
Oh, there's no way you'd feel this is only 15 pounds. And it's like dispersed throughout the entire blanket. So it's not like it's 15 pounds on your feet. It's like maybe not even a pound on your feet. It's just like the fact that like it keeps your blanket on you and like, you know, it keeps you cozied in there.
I don't think I would like that all too much because even when I sleep, because I'm such a high temperature bodied person, I literally have like half my body sticking out of the blanket anyway. Like
So,
that's just like me.
So like I don't use it when I sleep. I give it to Ashley obviously because she really wanted it and she likes it. I use regular comforter and all that, and half my body's also sticking out. But like during the day when I'm just laying in bed, I like that, you know, like that. It's so like I'm tucked in.
Oh,
Like,
I could see
but,
that.
like,
Yeah, I could see that.
it's real nice. And like our kitty likes to come in under the blankets, and I just like on him and like go. Ugh!
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think I'm like you where I would use it like during the day, like when I'm like sitting in the living room and just like watching TV and just having that would feel nice. But like a lot of people use a weighted blanket to help them sleep a little bit better because again, like you said, it's a little bit more cozier and all that. But I can't do that. I can't.
See, I've never tried it to go to sleep just because like, you know, Ashley uses it to go to sleep herself.
You should
But,
steal
like,
it for one night.
No, she'll flip shit. She likes that thing too much. But like during the day, like I said, it's really cozy. Like especially like if I come home from work randomly one day earlier than her, like or like just throughout the day when she's on her computer and or she's cooking whatever, and I'm just like in bed, I'll like go onto her side. I'll be like, nice and tucked in, feels nice. The third one, it's not really technically a purchase, but at the same time, it kind of is. It'll have to be my living situation. Me and Ashley recently we signed for a new condo, and you know it's kind of a purchase.
I would consider that a purchase. You're putting money into something and you're getting something in
Yeah.
return. That's 100% a purchase.
Yeah. So our new condo that me and Ashley are gonna go into next week, actually, that's probably my amazing purchase. Kind of, you know, it's nice to know that like that's gonna be like our permanent home for a little bit. And we don't need to worry about, at the end of the year, are we going to re-sign or not? Like, we're going to actually, you know, stay there until we're ready to like progress in our life to a bigger state or something, wherever our lives take us. But as of now, like that is going to be our permanent home. And I'm really excited for that. And it's fucking huge compared to what I'm used to. Oh, Mom, you've been to my apartment.
Your apartment's tiny.
It is tiny, and this one is a 3-bedroom. It has a balcony, has a separate living room with the connecting kitchen. It's ginormous.
Oh, that sounds awesome. And like I think from what you told me before, right? Like it's pretty affordable. Like you don't have to tell the exact rental price right now, but like, you know, it's affordable compared to what you've been paying even in Indiana, in Indianapolis.
It's so cheap. It's so much cheaper than my place. Like, so I was originally paying $685 a month. And that's not even including electricity and internet and
utilities in general, yeah.
So, and on top of all that, in total for like just living there, I would be spending about $750.
Oh my God.
But this new place, and it was very tiny. You guys got to keep that in mind. But this new place, 3-bedroom, everything I just said, it's only $800, and I'm splitting it with Ashley. So technically, I'm only paying $400 for all that space and everything.
So cheap, man. That's so cheap.
Insane. I love living in a college town.
Yeah. Oh yeah, college town like apartments are just ridiculously cheap, and like a lot of them come furnished. So is it furnished?
This one isn't furnished.
Okay, that's probably the reason why it's even cheaper because it's in a campus town and it's not furnished.
Yeah, and but like for honestly, like being furnished wise, like I don't need to worry too much about that just because Ashley had all that, and like she has her own bed. We're taking her bed from her parents' house in her room for the guest bed, her parents are giving us their couches in the living room so they could get new couches, and it's very nice. Like we have a dining table, we have a TV stand. We just bought a TV entertainment system unit, and like we have 3 TVs for some reason. But like we have TVs. We have one in her room, one in the living room, and one in the guest room. Like I had originally had a TV, Ashley originally had a TV, and then I think they just had a spare TV, like her and her old roommate, and like, you know, Ashley got it or it was hers or something.
All right. That's a lot of TVs. I only have 2 in my apartment.
But, you know, if we have a guest, and we're going to get little fire sticks for the guest room. So if they want to watch Netflix or something, if they're ever over, they have the option to do that. They can come to the living room, hang out. It's just like we've been planning this for so long now. And we already have like everything like, oh, we're going to have this for that, this for that. This. Like we're just really excited and antsy about moving. And I got to hurry up and pack this room.
You can take your time. It's fine. You can just do it like the night before. You can have Kevin help you.
I mean, technically, I can't. This room was really clean before Ashley started throwing all of her boxes in here.
And yeah, I'm looking at your camera right now, and it's a little messier than I've seen it before.
Yeah, there's like boxes like on this end, but then like the stuff that I brought from my apartment, she didn't want to just like, you know, put it to practical use where we kind of can. She wanted to store everything in here.
So, I mean, like, that makes a lot of sense because like there's no point in unpacking it and then repacking it in a week. So,
I mean, it wasn't even like unpacking it. It was literally like a drawer. There's a dog cage, like a kennel in here. There's like the new comforter that she bought. Like when we're not even gonna open it. Like we pre-bought a lot of things for our new place, and I was like, because like she found great deals, and she's like, we're never gonna get this chance again. And I was like, that makes sense, but at the same time, it's like, come on, nah. I mean, like I only have like I walk from the door into my chair, and that's the only space I have. Everything else is cramped.
I mean, yeah, that's just kind of what happens when you start like moving and stuff, and especially when like it's a little bit more of a permanent spot.
Yeah, I mean, but like I'm really looking forward to it. I can't wait. I really wish you could have came and helped us move, so you could like, you know, look at the new place too.
Yeah, I wish I could too, but like that's like right in the middle of like all of my work shit. Like all the students are coming back, and they some of them, like the student employees, start to come back next week.
I can't believe, you know, schools are opening back up.
I know. I'm terrified.
Like I saw a meme the other day. They were like, schools freaked out and shut down and closed everywhere around the world when there was 2,000 cases of coronavirus. Now that we're up to 2 million, we're gonna open back up.
Like, hey, welcome to the Trump administration.
Jesus Christ,
it's ridiculous.
But your turn. Three purchases this year.
So my purchases are more item based than yours, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I've been blessed with a good job this year, and I've been just being able to like, you know, pool my finances and getting things that I invest in. And again, they're not just like spur of the moment. One of them was a spur of the moment buy. I will admit that. It was my fiance's fault. But you know, just throw the blame on Esther, that's fine. But there are 3 purchases that I made this year that like really kind of is more of an investment in myself and in the things that I care about and the hobbies. So the first one, and it's a little lucrative, and it's a pretty big buy, but I purchased an iPad Pro 2020 edition, like pretty much the week it came out. And then I also bought an Apple Pencil, and I bought the Magic Keyboard. So I spent a lot of money on those 3 pieces of technology. It was a little expensive. Like I'm gonna say, like I think it was like after everything, after all the taxes, it was about. So I got the bigger iPad, I got upgraded storage. It was like maybe close to $1,200 to $1,300.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so it was a bit of a chunk of change.
Man used his stimulus check.
Actually, I used my stimulus check for other things, but I mean that's partially the reason also. But I got this because I was going to use it for my photography. I had a lot of things like set up and ready to be like taken and done like throughout this year. And I also thought like using it for my personal business where it's like I can sign contracts, I can edit photos and like do all that stuff on the go. Like that's the reason why I bought everything. And to be honest, I technically didn't even have to pay for the Magic Keyboard or the Apple Pencil. So a few episodes ago, maybe, oh shit, it wasn't a few, it was a long time. It was a lot of episodes ago.
Yeah.
I mentioned that I won an iPhone 11 from a raffle. So I don't like iPhones. Like they're just not me. And I have a Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. So my phone was already better than the iPhone that I won. So I used the iPhone for like a week just to see how I would like it, and like just to get some, you know how like YouTube reviewers can like review a bunch of different phones because they have them and they can use them. Well, I kind of wanted to get that experience and use the iPhone for a little bit and see how I liked it. So I used it for about a week. I realized I do not like this at all. So then I returned it to the Apple store, and then like I got store credit for it. So I got like $600 worth of store credit. So with that $600, I purchased the Magic Keyboard, which is like really expensive. And then I bought the Apple Pencil, which is not awful. So I bought those off the gift card, and then I had some money left over. So then I bought my sister a pair of AirPods for her birthday with the leftover money.
Damn.
So it was a lot. There was a lot of money on that card, and I could like use it and move it in like 3 different things, and they were all pretty big purchases. So I use that, Apple iPhone 11 win as like to my advantage, and like really invest in also like getting a pencil for like helping with me with editing, and getting the keyboard to help me with typing and other stuff. So I don't have to carry my 15-inch laptop that doesn't have a color correct screen to edit photos with. Like that's the kind of thought process that I had with it. So it was expensive, but I'm hoping that I get to use it to like take notes, and I've been using it a lot recently to take notes for like this podcast and just like things about photography in general. And yeah, editing my photos on it has been actually a real pleasure. Like it's been actually pretty fun editing on it, because I get to watch TV with it in my lap and just like edit photos, and I don't have to be sitting at my desk hunched over and just like being like, oh, I fucking hate my life, I don't have time to do anything anymore kind of thing. So that was a big purchase that I made this year.
It was a very good purchase too.
I'm hoping that it's going to be a good purchase.
I mean, still, like you use it for like podcast stuff like that already. I feel like makes it good, just because like we're really into podcasting, and like I don't see us stopping this.
No, I don't see it either, unless I get so tired of editing that I'm just like, I'm done, can't do it anymore.
That's gonna change, just because like, I mean, this week I'm editing one, and we'll see how that goes. If JD is satisfied with my end results of this episode that I'm editing, I'll be editing a lot more, just because like I know that I'll have a little bit more time in the coming future. So, and JD's going to be running out of time a little bit, just because he's busy with his life.
Wedding planning.
Yes.
It's not fun. But like, yeah, that's what I'm hoping. And using this iPad, not only as one of those spur of the moment purchases where I'm like, I want it because I want it. I like took a lot of time to think about if I actually need an iPad. And specifically like the iPad Pro line. Like I was like, do I need the extra power? Do I need all this stuff? And yeah, some of it I don't really need, but I figured if I invest this much into my future now, it's like less money that I have to spend in the future.
And it'd be a very different story if like you were using your iPad Pro to play like fucking Doodle Jump or something. And it's very different. Like you're practically using it, for your practical life and just stuff that you do, and it's more useful than, again, some kid just playing Doodle Jump on his parents' iPad, or like those parents that buy their kids an iPad just to keep them distracted. No, like you're actually using it to your advantage.
Yeah, and that's like the kind of line that I wanted to make sure that I was on the right side of. Like I wanted to make sure that I'm using this and investing this and using it, essentially buying this to make more money in the future, and that's my kind of thought process with it.
I like it.
Yeah. So, and then that actually, when we were talking about podcasting, that kind of leads me into the second one, actually. So the biggest purchase that I made for this year, I mean, I guess you could put it all in a package, but like I bought a lot of like nice quality podcasting gear, specifically the Rodecaster Pro. And I think this, and I love this thing because it makes our podcasting job a lot easier. We're allowed to record like 4 or 5 different like lines at the same time. On top of that, I can record Andrew while in Discord and into like a separate track. Like it's great because I don't have to worry about what if one of our recordings fail, or what if I don't know, like some, I don't know,
like one of our electricity goes out, like my end at least,
or
like he still has.
Yeah, or if I record from my webcam, like that doesn't happen anymore because we have this amazing interface that we get to use. And then also on top of that, like all this other podcasting stuff that I purchased, like I bought new microphones for both Andrew and I. Like we use the new microphones to get better audio quality, and I don't know, they look nicer than the ones that we had, to be honest.
We have 3 microphones now each.
Yeah, we do.
And it's a little much. Like I remember I went to JD's place and he gave me a new mic. He's like, dude, there's a new mic that came literally the next day. Like he's like, hey, the new one came in. I was like, I just got a new one. That's why I'm still using this one, just because like I didn't get any use out of this one. Like I'm not gonna just store it away like when I just got it.
Oh no, that's completely understandable. And I think with us, it was just, for me personally, like the first mic was great. It was incredible. So if you guys are, thinking about getting a microphone to start podcasting, the first microphone that Andrew and I purchased was the Audio Technica 2100 ATR. So the great thing about that microphone is it has both an XLR output as well as a USB. So if you don't have like these great interfaces like the Rodecaster Pro or the Scarlett 2i2, the one that Andrew and I have been using, you can just plug it directly into your computer using your USB drive and you can just start recording and it sounds great. I wanted to make sure that our podcast was progressing, so I got the Rode Pod mic, which is about $100, but there's no USB cable, so that's why it's not, I don't recommend that as much to people because it gets expensive when you throw in that interface and all that. And now I made sacrifices with my photography and I sold my camera, and with that camera I sold like all the lenses that I had for that camera. And with that money I purchased the Rodecaster Pro and then 2 really nice microphones, which is the Rode Procaster
broadcast quality dynamic microphone.
Yes, the Rode Procaster. So that's the microphone that I'm speaking into right now, and Andrew's using the pod mic. So I wanted to get these things because I want to make sure that if we ever want to do like a 4-person podcast, or if we ever want to do like some cool like 4 people or 3 people or whatever, that we have the microphones to make sure that everyone sounds like amazing. And it's just an investment that I made. So that's one of the big purchases that I made. And I also, I splurged a little bit and I bought myself a birthday present, which is my microphone boom arm. So there's a lot of different boom arms that are out there. There's one that we used before. It works, but they're cheap. You can feel how cheap they are.
The quality, you can tell just from the looks of it too. The one that JD's using right now is a lot nicer than the one I've been using, the one that we originally got.
Yeah, and the one that we originally got, again, it worked and it did the job that we needed it to do, especially when we had the Audio Technica microphones, because those were light. But now the microphones that we have are like dense motherfuckers. Like you can like take it and like punch somebody with it.
They're mics.
They're mics. You can punch somebody with it and just put it back and like record it and like nothing would happen. Like they're full metal encased and like they're quality microphones, but with that, it gets really heavy. So those kind of cheap boom arms don't really do well with like heavy microphones. So I decided to get a Blue Compass boom arm, which costs about $100 for myself for my birthday. But I mean, Andrew played with it the last time he was with me, and he's like, "Oh my god, like this is so much nicer than the one that I have. Like it's
so smooth.
You don't feel it because like you can't feel it like when you see it online. But
yeah,
hopefully after he saw it, maybe one day he'll get one for himself as well. Who knows?
I mean, as soon as the money starts coming in, I'll definitely start paying you back, obviously, for the microphones and initial purchases that you made, and then I'll start splurging on myself. Come on, all right. I still have to catch up to paying you back for the initial purchases.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that you haven't paid me back. It's because like that money was just like an extra money that I was like, oh, cool. Like I'll just buy all this nice stuff for us. Like
yeah.
Not
me. I live with that every day.
I continually forget but then you remind me all the time.
Because I'm not a scumbag. I don't cheat the system like that. Come on now.
But I appreciate that. And then the third and final thing that I purchased was more of a splurge buy, I think. It's just something that I really, really wanted. It was a camera bag.
Honestly, if you didn't mention that, I was going to ask you about that.
Which one, though? Because I bought 2.
The one you remember, it was inside or not inside on the website. It was like a go start page, whatever, something like that.
It was a Kickstarter page. So that's the one that I actually really like. So I originally purchased a giant, huge camera bag, and I don't use it because it's so big. The only time that I actually do use it is when like I go to a wedding and I need to bring everything that I need. Then I just go ahead and bring that one. That's fine. It works perfectly for that. However, it doesn't work when I just want to bring a camera and one lens and just kind of walk around with it because it's huge and it's giant, and it's the whole camera bag is only for camera stuff. Like I can't put a sweater in there. I can't put like just stuff that I might need throughout the day. So it's not like a daily carry backpack. Not like 2 weeks after I purchased the giant one, I saw a Kickstarter page for another backpack. And this backpack is the Wander Duo backpack. If you guys are a photographer and you're like, especially street photographers, if you're looking for like a nice low profile bag that, you know, that you can use both as a camera bag and maybe just even as your school bag, highly recommend looking into the Wander Duo. I use this bag every single day, whether or not I'm like going to go take pictures after work or if I'm just going to work. It is amazing. Like the camera part is a camera cube that pops in and out that's like stitched into the bag. So I can use it as a camera bag when I want to, but then I could also put it away and then just use it as my work backpack.
For those of you that don't know, I'm shaking my head at JD right now.
I don't know why. I think it was a great purchase.
It would have been great if you didn't purchase that first bag 2 weeks before.
I thought about that, but then I realized that like when I do in fact have a wedding, I need that giant camera bag to bring 2 camera bodies, 5 lenses and like stuff and like flashes and all that other crap for weddings. Like I actually still use the bag. It's just like there's no weddings in COVID-19, so
yeah.
Or like there's no weddings that like I have in 2019 like based on like COVID-19 stuff. So
I don't. To me, that just like it's just because it's like so close to each other on the purchases. That just reminds me of when my cousin Joe. This man, he got a haircut one week and literally did not like his haircut. So like 3 days later, he got another haircut. I was like, who the hell gets 2 haircuts in a week?
Okay, I didn't do that. But like,
I'm like, that's what it reminds me of though.
I guess to an extent, yes. But like, I'm trying to defend I'm defending my purchases. Like,
don't be a Joe.
Yeah, I have these 2 bags because they serve 2 very, very different functions. Like when I travel, when I go like, when I went to Cancun, I didn't bring that giant camera bag. I just brought the small one. And like, I just used that one the entirety of my trip. It was small. It's light. It's really nice. And I really do enjoy that camera bag. The other camera bag I really like because I can carry everything that I need on a wedding day.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I have uses for both those bags. So
I see. I mean, yours makes more sense, obviously. But at the same time, it's like, this man bought 2 bags within a month. Like, it's like, you could have like just used your one bag for like a month straight or something. It's like, and then, okay, tell them how much it cost.
Well, okay, so the first camera bag I bought was a lot. And the second camera bag I bought was a little less than the first camera bag, but it was still a lot. So I don't want to say the prices because it makes
I know the prices. That's why I'm still like,
Okay. So the first bag, the big one, cost me $170. That's after rebates. So it was like $200 originally. And then after taxes, it was $220. But then there was like a $50 mail-in rebate, which I cashed in and I got $50 back. So it was about $170. And then the second one that came out 2 weeks later, I got like the super, super early bird special because I was like one of the first 100 to back the Kickstarter. And I paid $160 for it. The fact is, I still use both backpacks today. And it's not like Joe, who has bought like a full frame camera that cost maybe $1,000 for just the body alone and just hasn't touched it. So you got to kind of put that. I'm going to throw that out there and let people think about it because yes, I did spend $300 on backpacks.
I feel bad for Joe. We always dog on him on our podcast.
I know, because it's so easy.
and he's actually one of like our biggest supporters too.
I know. But that's like kind of the thing that I think about. Like I love the guy, but like it's just too easy.
Choices.
He makes interesting choices.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, interesting choices. The last thing was like when I purchased the Wander Duo, which is the second backpack that I purchased, I bought it, but I didn't get it until like 6 months afterwards because it was a Kickstarter, okay. So I had to wait for it. But I wanted to hop on that early bird special because if it was either that, I was either paying $160 or I'm going to pay $220 when it came out in full retail.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I'm gonna buy this bag no matter what because this is exactly the kind of bag that I was looking for. I'll save money now and just wait for it to come in like 5 to 6 months.
If I pay for it now, I won't remember that I bought this. And once the bag comes in, it's like a little mini surprise Christmas for me.
You have no idea. That's exactly what happened. I completely forgot I bought this bag. And then I got an email saying like, oh, we're having like shipping whatever delays because of one of the like it's coming from China or whatever. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Not a big deal. And then literally the next day it was on my doorstep. So I'm like, oh shit. Like I did not expect this to be here, but it's because I was that super early bird special person.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is for like one of your 3 items that you purchased, I thought you were going to say for one of your things, it's going to be the engagement ring.
I mean, that definitely is one of them. I think recently it's been more of a stressor than my favorite thing, to be honest.
Yeah, but
and I think that's more along the lines of how Esther's treating the ring. I think not like she's like losing it or anything like that. No. The guest list has been really difficult for us to finalize, and Esther and I both have like a lot of family trauma when it comes to like bringing like our families together. And I think we've mentioned this on my half of my family. You know, mom or dads, you guys will never know until we say it. But one of my parents' side of the family is like, there's a lot of trauma because one of my family members passed away. And it kind of happened with Esther as well. Like it's very similar kind of in certain aspects. Like there's a lot of like aunts not talking or, you know, people not talking with each other and like just being very stressed out about it. So Esther and I have been getting into arguments recently about the engagement, about the wedding in general. And she said that like she's felt nothing but stress and anxiety ever since I proposed. And then I'm like, that's not the reason why I bought the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the ring because I love you and this is the relationship that I want to have with you forever. And if the ring brings up so much stress and trauma, then you're not seeing the true reason why I bought it. So, I mean, it's a hard decision for me to say that right now that was one of my favorite purchases this year. It's definitely top 5. It's probably actually number 4. But right now it's just so hard to be very happy with that purchase because I feel like I purchased it, then I gave it, but then I didn't give like the happiness and the love that I was expecting to give, but instead I gave stress and anxiety to my partner. So that's like the big thing that I'm kind of struggling through right now. And I think that both Esther and I are struggling through.
I see.
So I was more focused on
happy things
that were for myself.
Okay, I see.
As selfish as that might sound, like I wanted it for myself. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring that up. If I knew that, I would have.
Oh, no, it's not a big deal. I mean, it's a podcast. Like, I feel like, again, this is like me challenging myself to be a little bit more open when it comes to.
This is a safe place.
It is a safe place. I think it is. I really do. And yeah, like kind of going off of that, like investments and the reasons why we chose the topic that we did today, specifically about like our purchases this past year. I actually made another purchase when it came to podcasting. I won't disclose how much I spent on this thing.
Oh yeah, you never actually told me how much you spent on that.
Yep, I'm not going to say it because
okay, I'll look it up.
It was a decent amount. So I bought these things called pod decks, and what they are is if you're new into podcasting and you're having troubles coming up with ideas, or maybe you're old in podcasting and you like still need a little bit more spark and a little bit more inspiration. I bought these things called pod decks, and what they do is there's a deck that has very different themes and ideas that are on the cards. So I got 5 different decks. So one of them is the episode deck where we like we pick a card and it kind of gives us an episode idea that we can go off of. We have 2 interview decks that like kind of give interview questions that when Andrew and I start interviewing people a little bit more, hopefully we do that soon, but like we'll break out that deck. And then there's a what the heck deck that kind of just tells like weird and random questions. And then there's a would you rather deck. So there's a lot of different decks to like start conversations and and to hopefully get our podcast content a little bit more
spicy.
Yeah, spicy. I think that's a good way to do that.
Why is it spicy? You spent $80 on a deck of cards?
No.
Was it 100? Because the original price was 100 and there's a discounted price of 80.
No.
Fuck does no mean?
No.
You spent more?
No.
Less?
No.
You bastard. How much did you spend on these cards? Well, I mean, I already know the price because I saw it just now on their website and shit, but
it was an impulse buy.
It sure was. I mean, granted, me and JD have been struggling coming up with ideas, and this actually helped, like, because you use that deck today to figure out today's topic, but $80 plus tax is probably like $90 plus shipping probably like
shipping,
100 something.
Shipping was free.
Shipping, ooh, like ooh, fucking like 99.78.
Well, this episode was powered by Pod Deck, and if you guys want
Pod Deck, please sponsor us. We'll use it every day.
Actually, I wanted to talk to you about that. So when I got this deck, one of these decks, like I think this guy is really, really like enthusiastic about podcasting, which I think I enjoy. But he said that if we start like being an ambassador for these pod decks, he'll give us 5%. We'll receive 5% of the net sale associated with our special code.
Huh?
So like if we reach out to him and he wants to sponsor our podcast, if somebody goes and buys something, we get 5% if they use our code.
Ooh, so like we could pretty much advertise. If you guys want anything for podcasting stuff, use this code, blah blah blah, and we profit off of it.
Yeah, like 5%.
Hey, 5% is a lot.
Yeah, it is. So I hope that we can like use it to, maybe start a partnership with Pod Deck.
Ah, unagi.
But I
see what you did there.
I didn't know that they were gonna have this, so I just paid the $86 because I wanted the.
You spent $86 on a deck of cards that has questions and statements. Bless your soul. Bless your. What kind of? I've never seen you make that kind of like movement before while you sneeze.
I'm trying not to like exhale all my sneeze because it's loud as hell. But yeah, I spent a decent amount. But I mean, I just figured like we can just have them on deck. Get it? On deck, Pod Deck. We can just have them on deck at all times to maybe keep things spicy.
Spicy. Why is it spicy?
I admit that it was a little bit of money. But the thing is like I've been so because of COVID, I think this is another financial tip for everybody, is that because of COVID, I haven't been like going out to eat a lot. I haven't been spending money in general. So what I've been doing is Esther and I have allocated a certain amount of money for our own personal spending, like every month, like an allowance. So when I don't spend all the money that I have for my personal allowance, I put all the money into a separate account and just leave it in there. And then I just get the new set of allowance money and just use that. And I keep doing that. So I've been doing that for like the past, 4 to 5 months. And I've saved close to, let me pull up my app. I have $550 left.
Ooh.
So I've been moving money around and keeping it in my pocket at all times, but like in using it for myself. And I figured, hey, I have like a lot of money, so I might as well just like invest it in something that I know that Andrew and I are going to use, or I know that I'm going to use, and it's going to help our content and help us be better podcasters.
Okay.
So all my purchases are strategic. They're not all of them are
impulse.
A lot of them aren't impulse. A lot of them are like months and months of thinking and preparing to make that purchase. granted, these pod deck ones were kind of impulsive because I saw an ad on Instagram. I'm like, oh, that looks cool. And I just like read through it. I'm like, oh, all right. And I just bought it. So I used the money that I've been saving like all for a long time, just like kind of accumulating and making sure like, oh, I get to use this for myself whenever I want kind of thing.
So like me and you look at money so differently. To me, like I have to think about like, am I going to fucking use this? Because like you have more money than I do right now. So
Yeah,
like,
right now,
everything
for
that
sure.
I purchase right now, it's like, is it really going to be worth it for me not to have gas money? Is it really going to be worth it? And like right now in my bank right now, I have $30 and I need to keep that for gas. And like some miracle emergency that happens that like I don't need to use it, then it's like, nice, I got $30 until my next paycheck comes plus whatever I get. It's nice.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the way that I've been thinking about money is just like, yeah, I have it and I have not a lot. I wouldn't say a lot, but like I have some money that I've like personally saved myself. Like I don't go out to eat anymore because I want to save a little bit more money. And yeah, it's a lot of money and yeah, it may seem like I'm like being impulsive on my buys, but like there are actually like things that I've been thinking about purchasing for a long time. And like, I know we're going to use these decks and I know that we're going to be using these podcasting gear and I'm going to be using my iPad for a long time. And that camera bag I use every day, like they're investments and purchases that I like legitimately stand behind and that I use all the time. I'm not like some people that we know that buy stuff and don't use it ever again because they're in a hobby of it. I'm not going to name names. But
his name rhymes with Mo. He's my cousin. It starts with a J. It's Joe. I love you, Joe.
I hate to bring it up all the time, but like that's the kind of thing that like, but Joe has the money and the ability to do that.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't have that ability. You don't have that ability. We don't have that ability to just drop thousands of dollars on a hobby and just like kind of leave it. And that's it. And it's fine. Like we don't have that luxury to do that. And I mean, that's why I'm very careful with my purchases. Yes, I make big, extravagant purchases, but I do it for a reason.
I think, but honestly, Joe's been doing really good on money these days.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So, I mean, he doesn't go out to eat, doesn't go partying too much anymore. I mean, I don't really know.
Do you think he listened to our episode of our podcast where that was finances?
I know he didn't take any of our advice because he's doing better financially than both of us. But let's be honest here. I think he took some insults personally. He's like, those jackasses. But like I when I saw him the other day when I went to go for my birthday, I was like, we mentioned you a couple times. And he was like, yeah, no, I listened to it. It's whatever.
Oh, he listens to it?
No, he listens to it. Yeah. I told you he's one of our big supporters.
I thought he was just like being supportive by like being like, oh, I know you have a podcast. I support you. But I didn't know he was actually a listener.
Motherfucker listens to it. But then like I told him, I was like, it's not lies. So that's why he's not mad at me. He's like you're not lying. You're not bullshitting about it. And it's like, yeah. He's like, I only speak the truth. Yeah, it's bad truths, but it's the truth. And he understands. And like, it's funny just because our Noons mentioned it to him before he even listened to it. She was like, they talk shit about you. And he's like, what?
and that's why you started listening.
Yeah. And then he's like, oh, it wasn't even like we were bashing on it. We're just like, jokes,
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, again, like we said in this podcast a lot, like we love Joe. Like Joe, he's a great guy, but his thoughts on how he really dives into a hobby really, really quick and then just kind of falls out of it it's funny to us.
I find it funny. I think he has a new hobby now.
Is it his girlfriend?
No, it's they broke up.
Oh, oops.
Yeah, apparently. I didn't know that either until I went over and talked to him. Apparently she's crazy. But, I don't know. But his new hobby is like DJing. And
I told you, I called it a few episodes ago. I'm like, he's into like DJing now. And you're like, no, he's just supporting a friend. I'm like, no, just watch. I think it's his hobby.
He hypes up his buddy who's a DJ and all that.
Yeah.
And then like he's really, especially when I saw him that weekend I went down. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but he looked like a straight up E-boy.
I don't know.
Like those classic TikTok e-boys.
Oh, okay,
like the ones that wear the chains and like, you know, wear those like stylish pants, shirt, like looking like a straight up fuck boy. I'm an e-boy. I'm a fuck your girl kind of thing. Like through the internet.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Like straight up like Slash, an international student. Like, you know, he just looked like money. He just looked like a walking bag of money. Like, and like he was flaunting. It's almost as if he was flaunting it, but he wasn't. But
in a way he was.
In a way he was. And like that's the first thing I said to him. I was like, when I first saw him, I gave him a hug. I was like, hey, it's been so long. Why the fuck do you look like an e-boy? And he's like, what do you mean? This is... And then he's like, he took a second. And then when we went to the elevator, he saw the mirror. He's like, I mean, I guess. I was like, that shit's fucked up, man. Looking like an international student from China and shit with money to spend. But like the thing is, like he's a good looking dude. And like he pulls it off really well and stuff. But like at the same time, it's like I'm not used to seeing Joe like that. I'm used to seeing Joe like previously he was dressing like very like formally, like, you know, button ups, like because he's always at work and stuff.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden I went home to him, like he's in his little bachelor pad, fucking has a goddamn cross chain, has a ring, has fucking this pants with like 18,000 pockets in it. He's like, I was like, why the fuck do you have so many pockets? He's like, oh, dude, you can put so much stuff in there. Like one pocket, he pulled out his fucking phone. The other one, he pulled out his glasses. I was like, and another one, there was like his wallet. I was like, what the fuck is that? Oh my God, Joseph. And then I told Ashley, I was like, he looks like one of those classic TikTok e-boys and an international student from Bloomington. She's like, yeah, kind of. I was like, you don't need to hide it. Like, he knows. And then like, oh my God. And then the worst part is like, we saw like a TikTok and I was like, you look like him. And he's like, man. Oh, it is something else.
Oh, he is something else. Oh man,
he's one of those people that would wear like a Gucci face mask.
Oh, for sure, 100%. I can 100% see Joe wearing a Gucci face mask.
And then he'd be like, "What up? I'm lit.
I'm lit, and I'm not getting corona. Fuck you, bitch."
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, Joe. I hope he listens to this episode.
According to you, he listens to our episodes, so he's definitely going to listen to this one. We literally just went on like a 6-minute rant just talking about Joe and how weird he is.
Wait, I didn't say he's weird. Whoa. Pump the brakes there. You're jumping the gun there. Why did I call him a weirdo? I just said he dresses like a weirdo. Oh, fucking Joe. I love you, Joe, but
I love you
dressing
too.
like that. If you're gonna dress like that, switch your pants. Just wear regular skinny jeans, like what you're used to wearing, or like take that cross necklace off. It looks weird. I'm not saying like he looks ugly in it. Like he looks good in it, but it's just the fact that like he looks like a typical e-boy, like fuck boy, like because I judge those people, like because that's just not my personality. Like I hate the guys that have that stigma, like, oh, fuck boy, like I fucked a bitch all day, blah blah blah. You know, they just go around fucking everyone and everything. You know, fucking the you know, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Well, like I hate that Joe has that like aroma on him. Like it throws me off just because like he's my family. I love him to death, but like I hate those kind of people. It's like I don't know how to handle it. It's like, ugh.
But instead, we're just gonna make fun of him on a podcast and have everyone listen,
and then have him hopefully listen on it too. Then maybe it'll change us. Or if he doesn't listen, or if he does listen and he doesn't really care, he'll just text me and be like, listen to your episode. And then apparently he's vaping now too. He has the exact same one me and Ashley has. So like I almost called him a cloud cunt there. But then I was like, he wouldn't get it because he wouldn't get it. It wasn't as funny.
Yeah, that was a good episode though. That was a good episode intro.
Yeah, and you know, he's doing the vape. He's looking like an evil. Man, I don't know what to do with Joe. Hey, but it's his life, you know. He's living it, and nothing but love from me to him. Just a lot of questions.
Questions because we care, not questions because we think he's weird. It's just because we care.
Well. And after going on this like 10-minute spiel, like now it's like shifting towards like he's weird. I'm just kidding, Joe. I love you, man. Nothing but love, no weirdness.
Oh.
Oh God.
I think that's a great place to end the episode. Just ending with Joe. I think that's a great place to end it.
Wait, yo, we gotta interview Joe one day, just so like we can bring him on, so like people like know that he's real.
Why do you think your descriptions don't make it seem like he's a real human being in this world?
No, it's just, I don't know. Maybe people might just be like, oh, they're just making up some, random story about some dude they know. It's like, nah, this motherfucker my cousin. Like, he blood. Like,
that'd be a great idea. I would love to have Joe on the show. That'd be great.
Yeah, that motherfucker 50% of my blood. And I'll text him one day and I'll let him know, because I don't think he's too busy just after his work. But like, he's the boss at his store, so he can go home early if he wants.
Yeah, maybe one day for sure. One day for sure.
Nice. I'll let him know.
Yeah, that'd be great, because then we can he can clear up a lot of these things that we say about him, or just confirm them.
And confirm, clear up some things, and like he'll actually answer like why the fuck do you swap hobbies so much? Like, we can actually ask him those stuff and he can answer it. Or, he'll just be baffled and just be like, I don't know, I'm bored.
So like, if Joe wanted to like reach out to us, Andrew, how would he reach out to us?
Well, Joe can always find us at Gmail with upuntilnowpodcast@gmail.com, and also find us on Instagram with the same handle of upuntilnowpodcast, where you can find mine and JD's separate links to our own personal Instagrams. If you guys want to follow us, feel free to, or if you just want to throw us a message through there, whatever makes you comfortable. In our Instagram, you guys can also find a link tree where you guys can find information on Black Lives Matter, what we've mentioned in the past, and what we sort of talked about today, a little bit about the Karen situation. Who knows? Just educate yourselves. It's better to know than to be ignorant. And me and JD are still doing our best to educate ourselves on it as much as we can. Don't be part of the problem, fight the problem. And JD, who else do we need to thank today?
Oh, we need to thank Eric. Eric has been the gentleman that has been giving us his music for us to use during our podcast. It is usually the ones that we use as our intro and outro. We use the most current song that he has out as our intros and outros, and then during the middle, we kind of throw in his first and second songs that we've used in the past. So if you want to follow Eric and really give him support as a local artist, he can be found on Instagram at ch.tunes, and he can be also found on SoundCloud with the same handle, ch.tunes. So thank you, Eric, for letting us use your music. And yeah, man, like, it sounds great. We're waiting for track 4. And if, people love the music, if people love our podcast, Andrew, what could they do to help us, like, get our names out there and get our podcast out there?
You guys can always like, share, and subscribe. Please comment in our podcasting sites or Apple Music, wherever you get your podcast from. Let us know what we are doing right or what we are doing wrong, so we can either change it up or keep it up. Because we want to cater our podcast to make your guys' experience more fun, and just make our experience more fun. Because we're having a blast, but maybe you guys don't enjoy it. Let us know what you guys like and don't like.
Exactly. And there's a new announcement that I have for even Andrew and all of our podcast listeners. So I've been talking to one of my friends recently, and he recommended that we just throw up our podcast episodes on YouTube. So I have been making all of our podcasts into videos, and hopefully going to be uploading them to YouTube sometime within the next week. It takes a long time to upload a video in general, so it's been taking me a little bit of time, but we are going to be on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure it's the same handle, Up Until Now Podcast, where you guys can subscribe, comment, and we can actually put links in the description so people can actually look and see at the things that we're talking about. So be sure to be on the lookout for that. We're also going to put that link in our Instagram link tree as well. And yeah, so please support us in any way that you can. And yeah, it just really does help a lot. So with all that being said, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Bye.